Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on CapnclydesMTG, and we got tons of stuff going on, so we're just going to make some videos, and I'll put them in a random order. Don't forget, the Thanksgiving video is coming in shortly for the Thanksgiving winners. You know who you are. You've been contacted. If you did sign up for that, might want to check your email and your spam folder. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Because, yeah, you probably want to make sure you get your stuff. Anyway, don't forget links in the description down below. We are now also on Spotify. We're trying to spread the love of Magic and video games in general, because the kind of love Magic's been spreading is probably criminal in some places. Anyway, with all that being said of criminal, the CEO of Beckett pleads guilty to insurance fraud. Oh boy, what does this mean for slabs? So, before we get started, don't forget comment, like, and subscribe. Links are down below, and let's get into it. So here from Sports Collectors Daily was the first place I found something that's not a hot mess and is legible, we'll say. CEO of Beckett parent company pleads guilty in insurance fraud case. So it says here the chairman of the investment company that owns Beckett Media pleaded has guilt. Wow, seriously, spell check. It's not even that old. Everybody knows how to use it. Anyway, has pleaded guilty to a $2 billion fraud and money laundering scheme. According to court documents from no later than 2016 through at least 2019, Greg Lindbergh, 54 of Tampa, he's from Florida, that explains a lot, conspired with others to defraud various insurance companies, other third parties, and ultimately thousands of insurance policyholders, according to the U.S. Department of Justice. He's the longtime CEO of Global Growth, which owns numerous companies, including Beckett, which it purchased from Appraise Media in 2008. Company founder James Beckett has sold the business to Appraise in 2005. So, first things first, let's get this out of the way. The original owner and founder, James Beckett, has sold this company way before this happened. So this isn't on him. Also, Greg Lindbergh is the CEO of the parent company, not of Beckett. All right? That does your grading of cards and slabs in general. Now, moving on, Lindbergh created a complex web of insurance companies, investing businesses, and other business entities, and exploited them to engage in millions of dollars of circular transactions. He harmed thousands of policyholders, deceived regulators, and caused tremendous risks for the insurance industry, yada, yada, yada. According to North Carolina attorney Dina J. King, he pleaded guilty to one count of conspiracy to commit offenses against the U.S., including wire fraud, investment advisor fraud, crimes in connection with insurance businesses, and one count of money laundering. He faces a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison on the conspiracy count, 10 years in prison on money laundering. So, all that said, does this mean anything for Beckett in general? I honestly don't think so. So, let's get that out in the open right now. I don't think this is going to have much effect on Beckett per se as a slab company. And here's why. There's several reasons. One, this guy is in charge of the parent company. So he has no, that we are aware of, direct ties to Beckett. However, as you've seen in previous videos, Beckett has done some shady things along with other card slab companies. So that just in itself, guilt by association, may cause a rejection of Beckett slabs. But honestly, that's going to really depend up to the market of people who use Beckett and whether or not they want to continue to use Beckett. Now, with that being said, let's not blow this out of proportion. It's not like everybody and their brother are sending cards to Beckett to get them graded. That just doesn't happen. Beckett is probably one of the, in my personal opinion, least trusted or, for that matter, used card slabbing companies for a variety of reasons, which we don't need to get into because everybody has their own opinion. of how interactions and other things went with Beckett and so forth and so on. So be that what you will. Now, one thing this can do is push up other card trading companies that do slabbing for cards in general, especially those that specialize in trading cards. Because Beckett also slabs cards in general of all kinds, mainly sports cards is what they're known for, but also they have had a tendency to do comics and other larger things other than just cards. So lots of things go on here to think about. Now, that being said, PSA, which is probably the bee's knees when it comes to slabbing, is probably not going to be affected by this by any stretch of the imagination. If anything, it's going to help them get more business, as this puts a, we'll say, spotlight on shady practices by people who own Beckett but don't work there, if that makes sense. Because, again, guilt by association. If your boss is into shady shit, probably the people that work for him are too. And that might be unfair because Beckett may be a bunch of good people, and I'm sure some of them are. Maybe some of them aren't. Who knows? But again, I think the market in general as a whole is going to make that decision for everybody when people just either A, continue to use, or B, stop using, and also downgrade or stop paying a premium for slabbed cards. For those of you who don't know, a card that's been slabbed often will give a premium price of more than what it's normally worth because it's certified to be real, it's certified to be intact as far as a grade of 1 to 10 on how minty it is, and there's not a lot of wiggle room for, we'll say, interpretation that you would normally get because all that's done for you by a, well, quote-unquote reputable company, which this is why this may hurt Beckett. But at the end of the day, that's why people slab cards. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Interestingly enough, I think this will help a lot of other companies, especially Premier Card Grading, which is, if you guys know who Rudy is, that's his card company, I believe, which seems to be doing rather well with his backing along with other things. Now, with that being said, I'm not spoofing for him or shilling for him in any way, shape, or form. I don't even have any slab cards. And to be fair, with some of the stuff we covered content-wise, I am almost scared to get a slab card because I'm to the point where I'm not sure who I trust. As we've seen cards that were fake get slabbed because the card was fake, but the signature was real, so therefore they slabbed it and said that it was a real signature, and then sold the card as a real card. Yada yada yada. All kinds of shenanigans, along with other things. So, not real sure. However, in the grand scheme of things, I think I would probably trust PSA. And I would probably definitely give Premier Card Grading a chance. So, I mean, to be honest, I do watch Rudy. And yes, I'm sure to some people he is a scoundrel and a thief and God knows what else. But at the same time, he's also a businessman. And he's got money to back it up. So, I mean, the same people like him that run PCG are probably the same people that run PSA. It's just they will say hide themselves from the public better than he does. So, with that said, though, I mean, PSA is by far the bee's knees. I don't think it's going to affect PSA in any negative way as far as taking down the stock in what a card grade or a slabbed card will be worth, except for the fact that it may raise the interest, value, or credibility of cards other than Beckett, moving Beckett down to probably the bottom of the list. I mean, there's other card places you can get graded too. There's a place called, I think, CGC. Not fond of those guys. I've never really used them. The friends I've talked to who have used them haven't been impressed. I mean, they're fine. But at the end of the day, I mean, PSA is the gold standard for the moment. So if you got PSA slabs, good for you. Shouldn't bother you. So let's finish this out real quick, and then we'll end the video. In addition to pleading guilty to these charges on May 15th, following a retrial, Lindenberg was convicted by a federal judge in Charlotte, that's not far from me, of conspiracy to commit honest services wire fraud, whatever that means, and bribery for orchestrating a bribery scheme involving independent expenditures accounts, improper campaign contributions, amid bribing the elected North Carolina Commissioner of Insurance to influence the regulatories of the insurance companies. Good Lord. This guy is going away for a while. So yeah, he's guilty. He's not getting out of it. What's it mean at the end of the day? For you and me, probably not a whole lot of anything. For the card grade world, definitely a shakeup and a chance for some other card graders other than Beckett and PSA to come up the ranks. Well, I mean, PSA is already top dog, for them to just gain more ground, like they need that. But yeah, so there you have it, and, well, I don't know. The weird world, ain't it? Until next time, be kind, and as always, I hope to see you crossing the game table.